This is the first poem in the book. It's called Racing Forward. You have never ridden a bicycle, never had the guts to try. It is easier when you're younger. Shaky attempts and falls don't matter once you get the hang of it. Learn the trick of balance. Start zipping down the block, back and forth, until long after dark and legs ache from too much freedom. Any skinned knees from kissing asphalt at that boyhood age are carried with pride. More holy than press-on tattoos, scrapes harden into scabs prove you're tough, that you've gone through something, your flesh changed because of it. Scarless at 24, you think it's how foolish you look your first time which has kept you from trying. How virgin muscles, uncertain of their movement, would cause you to crash again and again. Still though, propelled by the body kinetic, racing forward is something to desire. That glorious moment you start to rush away from safe things towards a world that can hurt you. And you're ready for it. You're hungry for it. That is the heart of this fear. But once you learn how, you will ride off so fast, you'll forget what safe ever was. What my monster wants. It's wailing, a fury of jackhammers clogging its throat like chunks of bone in a garbage disposal keeps me awake. What the hell is wrong with you, monster? Nothing. It sobs. I do my best to ignore the beast, fixate on stucco overhead as if stargazing, wishing it would just tire itself out already. But it does not relent. Whines like a dog behind a closed door, like a child lost in a department store. Annoyance turns to concern. I lean over my bed, peer into the darkness beneath, and ask again, please tell me, why are you crying? Because you're not afraid anymore. The creature is right. Though its face is still the gargoyle's nightmare I remember, what was once fear to look upon it has turned to pity. I'm still afraid, just not of you. I say, confessing fears as if they were sins for which I sought absolution. Airplanes, going to the dentist, geese, opening my driver's side door on a busy street, my credit score, the Mayan calendar, knuckles cracking, red wine when wearing a new shirt, children with sticky fingers, finding cancer before I find love, dying and being wrong about God. Wow, it interrupts. What? How do you ever sleep at night? My monster asks, grinning before turning on its side and finally dozing off. For a second, I believe I can too. But those fears I've let out stay circling above me now, starved vultures over wounded prey, certain they will tear into my flesh as soon as I close my eyes. I surrender to a restless night, staring at the ceiling, measuring the wingspan of each of my fears, waiting for morning to come, working the angles. Would you like to buy some chocolate for Jesus? He asks, waving a candy bar like tickets he's scalping for a concert, one he's certain I want into. It is September 2002. The sun is a violent lover. I am more sweat than blood and wonder what miracle keeps chocolate from melting in his hands. They're toffee, he points out, as if it makes a difference. I tell him, no thanks. His smile is an accordion stretching as he says, Jesus loves you, then compressing when I walk away. The next day, he's at it again, working the angles, the overweight and under-willpowered, old ladies with costume jewelry, crosses hanging from their necks like bullseyes, parents of sugar-starved children who recognize the word no as a grenade pin they don't dare pull. He asked for charity from all but one, a dark-skinned man in a turban. Would it really offend Jesus if offered chocolate from a Muslim? Would the nougat be any less sweet? He seems to think so. And I'm sad for this world. Give me one instead where Jesus and Muhammad sit around eating Hershey's Kisses, waiting for Krishna to arrive with devil's food cake. Cosmo offers how to find Mr. Right. She considers reading the article, wants to dissect its instruction like a frog's belly, cut into the meat and learn the biology of it all, but doesn't. Instead, she sinks lower into couch cushions, mixed drink in hand, some spiced rum concoction that tastes like vacation. It's been a long day. The cable box's LED glows 7, reminds her she's running late for dinner with the new boy. He, a beautiful average, has a smile of red licorice and a good vocabulary. Uses words she doesn't recognize and compliments she's not heard before. If this prince were a frog, he'd be basking behind terrarium glass in some pet store. She wishes she could keep one more exotic, speckled wild with color, so dangerous a creature it sweats a poison used to coat the tips of arrowheads. This boy perspires saccharine. His brow beads gumdrops. She is certain if she were to travel his chest with her tongue, move lower, there'd be no bite of salt to speak of. But he's magazine subscription dependable, and that has to count for something has become her new mantra. However, tonight she can't repeat the chant enough to want to like him. He finally phones, asking where she is. Sorry, she offers. A friend is going through a really hard time. I need to be there for her tonight. She hopes her lie is so obvious he never thinks to call again. He hangs up. She mourns the dead lion as though she would a stranger's corpse at a funeral. She knows she should feel bad but doesn't. Finishing her rum, she puts down the empty glass, picks up Cosmo, and reads. This poem starts with an epigraph by Tony Hoagland, and it's called How to Lie on a Bed of Nails. What we are practicing is suffering, which everybody practices, but strangely, few of us grow graceful in. That was Tony. It looks impossible. Flesh pressed against 1,000 reasons to hurt. Don't fool yourself into thinking this. It is not magic, just pressure divided across a body. Go slow. Ease onto the bed with purpose. Know what it is you suffer for, then ask your nerve endings to stretch over rows of tiny, sharp reminders. You may fear they will sink inches deep, but the surface tension of each, being so close together, will keep skin from breaking. But to grow graceful at it, you must practice, rehearse. Let it become dance, a soft waltz. Trace a hand over the nails. Feel each slight scrape tingle your palm like static. Imagine this electricity is not from waiting metal teeth, but from taut dress fabric hugging the small of a lover's back you've yet to meet. Convince yourself of this until you forget the teeth altogether, so when you must finally perform for a crowd all anxious and rowdy, they will be hushed, awe-stricken by your daring act. just how effortless you make suffering appear. It's called the procedure. For fame and glory, you undergo the risk of replacing your 2 lungs with blowtorches. Many warn you'll never be the same after the procedure. Good, you say. That's the idea. Now, a human dragon, you daydream of all the thrilling jobs for credentialed fire breathers. You update your resume, sprucing it up, sure to mention how you can weld iron with hands tied behind your back, control burn whole redwood forests with a puff, and star in one-man pyrotechnic shows. But your talents never find you any such line of work. Nothing as amazing as you first imagined for yourself back before your chest ever began to spark. Rather, you're now reduced to a parlor trick, going over well at cocktail parties, setting silly name drinks aflame, and you're a big hit at camping trips, where you've mastered the art of roasting marshmallows, crafting the perfect s'more. When they cautioned, you'll never be the same, this is not what you thought they had meant. Unsatisfied, unfulfilled, like some wretched matchstick in a wind tunnel, or the thrusters of a rocket unable to combust and take off from a world you believed you were designed to escape. 1. As a kid, I was afraid to ride a bicycle, puzzled by its strange mechanics, confused how one stayed balanced on only 2 thin rubber wheels in motion. I decided to leave it to the schoolyard daredevils. Walking was fine for me. But with the sucker punch of puberty, my guts were wound with enough messy bravery to finally learn how, so I could slip out in the night with friends and TP the houses of all the girls we liked. We tossed the rolls high over our heads like hand grenades, spreading toilet paper as if it were the lining of our own hearts, as if we were skywriting love notes against a canvas of midnight. Rushing home after our confessions, we were champions on 10 speeds, free of words we'd wanted to say, but hadn't yet developed language for. I was most alive, though, pedaling towards the girls, appreciating how far I came to understand the balance of it all, certain it was something I needed to know. I could feel it in the way my muscles ached. 2. On our first date, you tell me how solitude grew to fit you well, how if a straitjacket is worn long enough, it can become a favorite winter coat. 2 months later, you tell me a different story. The beach, your sisters and their boyfriends, 2 rented tandem bikes and a cruiser left for you that was more torture device than bicycle. It pulled a confession from your chest. The word lonely escaped like a ghost through the walls of your ribcage and has haunted you since. Hearing this, I want to hold you with more arms than I have. Loot a prosthetic limbs factory just to octopus hug you when I whisper. Your beautiful autonomy makes single-cell organisms jealous, but eventually, even they learn to split in 2. What I don't say is this. I hope your heart divides. I hope I'm around to see its stunning symmetry, maybe feel the weight of it rest in my palm long enough to memorize its friction. That kind of confession, there's no language for. So we sit silent, my eyes promising I'll ride tandem bike marathons with you, and yours answering back. This is what we ached for. Thank you very much.